If We Were in Love, a Miraculous Ladybug fanfiction written and narrated by Mira, with artwork for the opening and thumbnail image by Natalia. I'll have her art linked in the description box. This is a video compilation of both parts of this mini-series. Please enjoy If We Were in Love. Part 1.
Oh, this hurt her heart. Ladybug gazed at all the preparation in front of her. Roses and petals, dinnerware and see-through glasses. He'd gone all out, but for what? An opportunity to let her partner down again? "Cat," she began, a hand pressed to her lips. "This is too much." To celebrate our partnership? She felt his hand on her shoulder. "I don't think so." She turned around to get a better look at him, smiling down at her in a way that made her chest squeeze painfully. No, this wasn't right. This wasn't partnership celebration decor. This was seductive decor, however innocent the intentions behind it might be. This is inappropriate. Cat pulled her close, tucking her head under his chin. "You think?" The words landed softly on her ears, and she could feel his breathing from being so close. No. She didn't have feelings for him. It was just the moment. Besides, he said he moved on a long time ago. "I do." Pull away. Pull away from this warmth. Yeah, it was her face and body that was warm, not her heart. "Remember, Truth Seeker?" Cat wrapped his arms around her. There was no denying this was a hug now. "The Akuma victim? Remember what you said after she struck you?" Her ears burned. While there were some times when, under a victim's influence, a person may not remember what was said or done, there was influence that didn't tamper with a person's memory. That doesn't count. "It's impossible to lie to Truth Seeker." "How would you know? She didn't get you in that fight." "Oh, she did. But I make a point of wearing my heart on my sleeve, my lady." How long was he going to hold her like this? It was terribly cozy, and that made her even more uncomfortable. "Regardless, I plead." She tapped his chest, hoping he'd release her. "Come on, join me for dinner." Well, she had promised she would. "I won't go back on my word." "Good, because it's already paid for." "Where is it?" Sure, the table was set, but this was a rooftop, not a restaurant, and there was no meal in sight. "I have carapace on delivery." Ladybug blinked twice. Cat said he'd collect the Miraculous from him this evening, but... "You're using a Miraculous for meal delivery?" Her voice was louder than intended as she pushed off his chest with both palms. "Friends with benefits, superhero edition." She stared him down for a moment, but all he did was laugh. "Well, I did promise dinner." She meant, like, American Grease to go, but it wasn't specified, so... And here she was. "My dudes!" Nino was here. Well, Carapace was here. Same thing. Despite her reservations, Ladybug found herself enjoying this setup. Sure, the decor was over the top and cheesier than Leon's store, but Cat's cheeks glowing in the candlelight with Paris as a backdrop? It took her breath away. "This is really good, thank you," Ladybug said, stirring her soup before taking another bite. I'm not gonna lie. I was worried about such a bold choice, Cat replied, losing his mature look as he ran his fingers through the back of his hair. But now I'm glad. Anything spicy is a risk, especially if it's actual spice and not just heat. Yeah, this Thai shrimp soup is one of my all-time favorites, and not just from this restaurant. You totally have a backup in case I didn't like it, don't you? Yeah, this Thai shrimp soup is one of my all-time favorites, and not just from this restaurant. You totally have a backup in case I don't like it, don't you? Cat's already sheepish look became more pronounced as he flashed a toothy grin. Rena Rouge is on standby. That's code for hiding behind a rooftop and taking photos, isn't it? Cat shrugged, but Ladybug wasn't too worried long term. She knew better than to post them to the Lady blog. You can send her away. I'm good, and this is delicious. His sheepish grin cracked into something more authentic, and it was like Ladybug was falling for him all over again. No, it wasn't a falling in love fall, but, I love this person with my being, and I want them to live a happy life. This boy, and nearly man, had her heart in every way but the way he wanted. At the end of their dinner, after Carapace made his return to play busser, Ladybug sat on a generously wide balcony railing with her partner, lit by Paris and the candles surrounding them. It was breathtaking, but the way he looked at her could take a lady's breath away. If the lighting and atmosphere made him look this good, then she couldn't blame him for the look he gave. Surely she was comparable in this light. Thank you for this evening, she said, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear. It felt like the right thing to do. She could feel her nerves all the way down to her forearms and had to do something with her hands. Thank you for staying. It seemed like an obvious thing to do, but Ladybug knew the weight of those words. It wouldn't be the first time she abandoned a gesture like this. You're my partner. It was a statement, not an explanation. I know, and you're mine. Silence hung between them, a sheet they could part like blinds to the morning sun if only they opened their mouth. I should get going soon. All done being partners? She gave him a soft smile. Never. You know that's not true. He reached out and touched her forearm, and all of the anxiety there dissipated, running up her arm and into her shoulder blades before settling in her chest. I know. But she also knew more about what happens to Cat Noirs and ladybugs if they fell for the other. Being the guardian taught her more than secrets. I wonder how different this would be if... Cat Noir cut himself off, choosing to look at the city instead of her. If? Ladybug wasn't sure if she wanted the answer. If we were in love. The sentence gripped her heart as his eyes met hers, but the energy in the silence was unmatched to anything they'd shared before it. It would be like her to stutter, or make an excuse, or simply leave, but she couldn't. Ladybug just sat there, motionless in his gaze until his grip on her arm tightened, then melted away. Have a good night, LB. Cat said, making no motion to move. Have a good night, Cat. Ladybug couldn't feel her cheeks and couldn't tell if she blushed under his gaze, but she couldn't take her eyes off him. Oh, sugar and cookies. This was a kissing moment, wasn't it? But no kiss came. Cat Noir leaned in as if to say something, looked away, sighed, squeezed her forearm one last time, and let go, sliding off the railing. "I'll see you around." "Yeah," she said, finally feeling the heat burning her cheeks. "I'll see you around." And just like that, the night was over. And just like that, Ladybug was in love.
Part 2.
Oh, this hurt her brain. Marinette stared at herself in the mirror. Lipstick and mascara, blush and bronzer. She'd gone all out, but for what? Could she even transform into Ladybug wearing makeup? "Marinette," Tiki began, her hand pressed to her mouth. "Are you sure you want to do this?" "Honestly?" Marinette gave the mirror one last frog-mouth look and turned to her Kwame. "I have no idea." "Spots on?" "Spots on." "Okay. A date. With Cat Noir. Her idea." Yeah. She wasn't nervous at all. Not one bit. She totally wasn't wishing she hadn't transformed so she could talk this over with Tiki one last time. But she'd set a date, and she'd keep it. Ladybug made her way to the abandoned cathedral, already set up with candles and flowers and who knows what else, courtesy of Rena Rouge and Carapace. Clearly, they didn't have a problem doing it. Cat wasn't there yet, although Ladybug couldn't tell if that made her more or less nervous. "Okay. Phew. You can do this, LB. It's just a date with a guy that you secretly love. Not like, love. Deeper than some schoolgirl crush." "Hey." She jumped at Cat's voice, screaming louder than she'd care to admit. Hey! Hi!" she replied, giving a tight wave. "Aren't I supposed to be the scaredy cat?" She rolled her eyes before punching his bicep. "Smarty pants." "Nerd." They laughed and he gestured to the wide steps in front of what used to be an altar. "I can't believe they're tearing this place down," Ladybug said, looking at the stained art surrounding them. "It's only, 158 years old? It's no big deal." "Doesn't make it any less beautiful." "They were going to tear down Notre Dame as well until someone wrote fanfiction about it." "It's also a beautiful cathedral." Ladybug was happy their conversation moved so smoothly. She wasn't sure going into this if she'd be able to not pull a Marinette. "So, you invited me on a date," Cat said, staring at her with a smile as his hand cradled his face. He looked like a model, elbow propped on his knee with a casual yet intimate gaze. "I did. I invited you on a date." "Any reasons why?" "Because I wanted to go on a date with you." It was hard to not look away. "Oh." His reply was soft, but his expression smug. "Good. Me too." Why was it so hard to know what to do with her hands? Ladybug weaved her fingers together, looking down at her lap instead of her company. "I owe you an apology," she said. "An apology?" His expression wasn't so smug anymore. his jawline lifting away from his palm. For what? Not asking you sooner? For not allowing herself to ask him sooner. She may as well have told him his car is on fire, judging by his expression. Oh. Oh? He opened his mouth, probably debating a question, and gave a short sigh. Can I... he began, knitting his eyebrows together. Can I ask you a question? Yes? Ladybug pulled her knees closer to her chest, cold from the stone stairs. Did I miss an opportunity to kiss you last time? Oh. Maybe. The answer came out easily. No awkward marionette attached to it. Maybe? Like, I guess? I don't know. You were there too, he laughed. Sugar and cookies. Why did he look so good lounging on some abandoned altar steps? I mean, I thought about it. The atmosphere. Not the kiss. I didn't think about kissing you at all. I just thought about if it was a good atmosphere, you know? Well, of course, you know, you were there. His smile ate her heart. He was smiling at her like he loved her, and Ladybug wasn't used to it. She wasn't used to having a requited love. You thought about it too? Surely her face matched her mask. Like you weren't, she tried to say smugly, but it probably didn't sound like that to him. So like... He slid himself closer, his hips now touching hers. If her hair was down, it would probably touch him. If there was another moment where we could kiss, would you let me? Excuse me? Ladybug leaned back on instinct, regretting it instantly. Would you kiss me back? Would I kiss you back? His face was too close. Too close. Okay. I'll stop teasing. Cat Noir slid away a few centimeters, reclaiming a spot on the stairs to himself, but still closer than when they started. His hand stayed on her thigh. She hadn't noticed him put it there. How long had he... Teasing? You mean like this? She put her hand on his thigh, wrist arched in obvious mockery. You're mocking me, aren't you? Look, Buzz, an alien! They laughed, but neither one moved their hand. They kept laughing, actually, longer than they should have, because they both knew what would happen when they stopped. Silence echoed as they settled down, the air touching her lips and filling her with static as she drew her eyes to his. This was a kissing moment. She felt his fingers flex on her thigh, and he looked down, leaning in before retreating. Was he... Ladybug had to know. She leaned in a bit and tilted her head to the side. He visibly swallowed, looking away before tracing her eyes with his. He leaned back in, holding the few centimeters between them for what felt like far longer than what it was. And then, unlike any kiss they'd shared in the past, pressed his lips to hers, turning the static to sparks. Anxiety no longer rested in Ladybug's forearms. Oh no. Something electric ran through her nervous system, but it wasn't something she wanted to medicate away. Oh no. This was far better than anything she'd imagined. Who knew this was a possibility all this time? Breathless, Cat broke away, looking at her like a boy who wasn't sure if he was about to get in trouble, but Ladybug paid the expression no mind. She wrapped her free hand around his jawline and pulled him back to her, warmth and magic leather flooding her senses. Well, that was... Cat began, freshly parted from her and clearly flustered from their shared experience. Ladybug was too, but she wasn't about to show it. Now, I believe we have a date to get to, she said, as nonchalantly as she could manage. Oh, yeah, a date. What, you don't want to? She teased. What? No! Of course I do. Did he not realize it was a joke? But, this was nice too. I agree. Her voice was soft. But I say we get out of here, because I wouldn't be surprised if Rena tries to film us for posterity's sake or something. Cat grinned at her. You're already planning on posterity with me? Ugh. She slugged his arm. Silly Cat. That wasn't a no. Ladybug didn't know how to respond any other way than rolling her eyes. Sighing, she stood up, stretched, and offered a hand to her partner. Let's get going, shall we? The night isn't getting any younger. We're in Paris. We'll be fine. And with those words, Ladybug set off on a date with the man who would be her lifetime partner. And to think, a few days prior, Cat Noir tried to paint a picture of what it would be like if they were in love. Life is funny that way, but it isn't an if anymore. Ladybug and Cat Noir were in love.
Thank you so much for listening. If you'd like more Miraculous Ladybug fanfiction, you can check out these videos. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel for more content. And if you're still listening, comment LadyNoir. I'll catch you in the next one.